Hey everybody, Kris Avalon here. Thank you all for tuning in for another exciting brand new episode of what I'm going to be calling Kris Avalon Raw and Uncut. I'm basically just going to be giving you an insight on all the little things that's been going on this week so far. It's a hot day in New York, so I just want to touch on a couple of things before, so that way I don't have to wait until Saturday to give you all the tea on my radio show, Kris Avalon Show, which you can actually listen to on iTunes and alldigitalradio.com if you want to listen to it live, or the All Digital Radio app that you can download in the Play Store, so that way you can take me on the go. But anyway, so a couple of things I want to touch on when we touch on a couple of topics. One of the things I want to get into is the MTV Movie and TV Awards, which aired last night on MTV, and probably a bunch of the other Viacom websites or whatever, but I just went on MTV on my laptop and basically watched the show. I thought the show actually was a step up from many shows over the years. Tiffany Haddish I thought was funny. There was some jokes that fell flat, but that usually happens when it comes to comics. But I thought the opening monologue was great. I thought her flirting with certain members of the audience was funny, like Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman and Nick Jonas. All of that was pretty hilarious, and a couple of the bits was funny. I love the opening sequence with Black Panther. I thought that was hilarious. I just want to get all the good things out of the way before I get to the negative aspects. I actually thought the performances were great. I thought Chloe and Haley were great. I actually liked them. I wasn't really paying attention to their music before. I did know them from Grownish because I did watch that show, but I didn't particularly get into their music or take the time to listen to their music until I saw their performance last night. But I have to say I'm a fan now, so I'm definitely going to be checking these young ladies out. I know they're supposed to be. I don't know if they actually. I could have sworn that I heard they were supposed to be the opening act for Beyonce or something like that. Or I don't know if they're doing it. I don't think they're doing it for the current On the Run 2 tour. But I did hear some of them. They were supposed to be the opening act. So I don't know what's going on with that. Or if that was just for Coachella or something like that. But yeah, I got notes. So that's why I keep looking down. But so I thought their performance was great. The Nick Jonas and Mustard performance, it was all right. I like Nick Jonas as an artist. I know a lot of people think he's hot because of his body, and I said, yeah, he's a good-looking guy, and definitely hits the gym, and all that is working. But I just feel like as a performer, he really needs to work on his live performances, because I just thought the performance was okay. It wasn't that amazing to me. And then a lot of these producers that are now trying to be artists, I think there's a reason why a lot of you belong behind the scenes, because it's just what is your purpose of being there? Yeah, you may have had a hand in the production and putting everything together, but if you don't have the wherewithal to at least work on your stage presence, I just don't see the purpose of you trying to be an artist. But I get it. There's a lot of producers out here that's trying to, try different things and be creative, but to me, it just didn't work. One of the things, there was many things. I love Lena Waithe's speech. I love the fact that she actually dedicated the award. There was a lot of dedications throughout the night, by the way. Lena Waithe dedicating her award to the pioneers that were highlighted in the Paris is Burning documentary. I thought that was brilliant, because even though this documentary is well known amongst the LGBTQ plus community, old generations and the upcoming generations now, a lot of the people that were in the show, in the documentary, didn't get the credit that they deserve. Yes, they became famous in their own right within our communities and people who know them, and RuPaul quotes every single line from Paris is Burning throughout the 10 seasons the show's been on the air. But as far as Pepa LaBeija and so many of the other girls getting that due diligence, it hasn't really happened until recently, especially with the rise of shows such as Pose on FX and My House on Viceland, another show you should definitely check out, which is celebrating the ball culture and people of color, and how much LGBTQ people of color have contributed to the community in regards of the vernacular, the dance moves, the fashion. There's just so much that the LGBTQ people of color have contributed to this, to just society as a whole, but don't get a lot of the credit. So I just love the fact that Lena Waithe took a time out during her speech to give that, and I really hope that we get more people like Lena Waithe. That's why I'm working, I've been working as long as I have been in the entertainment business, because I'm trying to be one of those people that's just basically let's get things made, let's get things done. We need more diversity in regards to the LGBTQ community in entertainment. And it's unfortunate that we're still in the land of first, especially when I was shocked to hear, like, when Tiffany Haddish revealed that she is the first black female comedian to host the MTV Movie and TV Awards, because now they've merged it because the lines have become blurred. There's more entertaining stuff on television, in my opinion, especially Netflix and so many other streaming sites, than there are in the movies. It's like you really have to like dig to find like really good film content. But overall, I noticed that the films are starting to get a little better in regards of like giving us real good content. But a lot of the better writing, a lot of the direction, a lot of that character development, a lot of it is more on television. Now, I tend to watch a lot more streaming shows than I do go into the movies. I'm very selective in regards of what I go see in a theater now. I loved when Chadwick Boseman, I forgot the guy's name, but I liked how he dedicated and gave away his MTV Movie Award, I guess, for Best Superhero. If I remember correctly, because I believe that Black Panther, basically they cleaned up on the awards. I believe they won 4, if I can remember off the top of my head. I know Michael B. Jordan won, Chadwick Boseman won twice, and for Best Movie was Black Panther. So off the top of my head, it's probably, that we saw televised, I believe it was 4, of Black Panther won 4 awards. I would have also liked to have known what other documentaries was nominated for Lady Gaga to win, because they didn't even show the performance. They didn't even televise the nomination. They just showed her walk out with a new haircut that I actually liked on her, by the way. The shaved head and the hair on the eighth, like it was very Flock of Seagulls. But look them up if you don't know what I'm talking about. It was very 80s. I like the fact, back to Chadwick Boseman, I did love the fact that Chadwick gave away his award to the guy who fought off the gunman at I was about to say IHOP, the Waffle House. I believe it was in Tennessee. I'm trying to remember because there's been so many mass shootings going on. I can't even remember what was what. But yeah, I do love the fact that he's like, you know what? I play a superhero, but you are a real superhero. And I just like the fact that there was so much generosity that was coming from a lot of people last night. I did love that the cast of It won. And it was hilarious also to see that when you look at these kids, they're getting so big, and I know they're about to start shooting It very soon because I know they finally just cast the actor who's going to play Mike. They've been going through all this stuff. So Isaiah Mustafa, who does like the deodorant commercial, was it Old Spice? He's going to play Mike now. So I do love the fact that the whole cast of It won, and the funny part was how all these kids are probably not even like 15 or have probably barely crossed over into their teen years, and they were all taller than Ronnie from Jersey Shore. I'm like, come on, like, what is he, like, Snooki's height when I was looking at him? But one of the things that I did have a problem with, 2 things. I had a problem with, that was all the positive stuff. There wasn't really much of a negative. The only negatives I have is towards the Kardashians. Number 1, how does that show win Best Reality Show when that show hasn't been real in years? People haven't been keeping up with their asses since she married Kanye. And then on top of that, how do you beat out shows that have more viewers, like Drag Race? What was the other nominations? I know there was The Real Housewives, Love and Hip Hop. A lot of those shows were nominated, but the Kardashians win is because that it would be easier. Like you're thinking about ratings and all that other stuff. I don't know what the ratings were for the show. I'm actually quite curious. I should have looked that up before I started to go record this video, but Was that a way for you to get Kim and her mother to show up, was by giving them like an award or something? So it felt political and it felt ridiculous because I don't know many people that watch the Kardashians. We hear a lot about them in the news, and just because they're always trending on social media or in the news for doing something ridiculous, like the latest of her wearing those braids again, as she would call Bo Derek braids, but they're actually Fulani braids, which is braids that are mostly known for women in East and West Africa, but also a lot of black women wear those braids. So she came under fire for that, and rightfully so. I'm tired of, I don't care if people consider this to be racist, but white people, stop trying to embody a lot of our culture on your stuff. There are just certain things that you are not allowed to do. You're not allowed to say nigger, and you're not allowed to wear cornrows or any kind of braids that are associated with Africa. Now, I understand you have mixed race children. So if you want to give Northwest braids, box braids, Fulani braids, all that kind of stuff, that's fine. You can do that because she is a mixed race child. And when you are mixed race, you have black blood flowing through your veins. Therefore, you can rock that look. everything isn't for everybody, and people have to learn, as far as like when it comes to culture and stuff, you can't embody everybody's culture. Stop appropriating people's cultures, and that is what I feel like Kim is doing, and she knows what she's doing. She's just trying to trend, probably because, you know, the whole Beyonce and Jay-Z album came out and stuff, which, you know, is called The Carters, Everything Is Love. Absolutely love the album. I listened to it yesterday. I didn't really get a chance to listen because, you know, everybody's like, you have to go to title. But there's ways of getting around that, if you know what I'm saying, and I think you do. But I listened to the album overall. I have to say, you know, I like I don't know what's going on in their personal life. I don't know if this stuff is real or if it's fake or is this them creating a concept for attention. But I do like the fact that the Carters work best as... creatively, they're good. I have to say, like, when it comes to, like, music and this, that, and the other, they're a creative force to be reckoned with. I don't know what, you know, if it might be different, like they may be sleeping in separate bedrooms when, you know, they're done with being on tour and this, that, and the third, or if this is all an act because collectively, you know, when they stay together, it works for them creatively or whatever the case is. But I love the record. I listen to it. I like the fact that, okay, we got Beyonce mumble rapping on here now. I did kind of wish that the production wasn't kind of following what is current and that they would have kind of given us something a little different. Also, I know a lot of people were curious to find out, like, how were they able to shoot the Apeshit video in the Louvre in France. From what I've been reading, because I did a little research and I went on the New York Times page, and they did a little digging, and I'm going to bring it to you on how they managed to do it. First of all, I hear it's not that expensive to shoot in the Louvre. It's basically, from what they would say, it's an American dollars, $17,500 it costs to basically rent out the Louvre and shoot there. There have been many of Hollywood movies that have shot there. One of them most recently, well, it was the last 50 Shades movie. I don't watch that shit, so I don't know. But one of the movies I did see that they've shot there was Wonder Woman. So they shot the last Wonder Woman there. So it's not uncommon for, you know, people to shoot in museums. Museums aren't making a lot of money these days. So if you allow Hollywood movies to shoot in your facility, it not only do you get to make money by inviting people inside of your facility to shoot, but what it also does is it brings the tourists to come and check out the place. Because, oh yeah, Beyonce and Jay-Z shot their video here. I want to go here and check this museum out. So it could be either there or somewhere like the Museum of Natural History, whatever kind of museum it is, Museum of Modern Art. And they also say, like, Beyonce and Jay, or Bey and Jay are contributors to the place. So when you have an inside-ness to a certain place, or you want to do certain things, people will open up their situation and kind of look at you in that way. So I think it's cool. Anything to bring attention to a place, and I think more people should go to museums and kind of get cultured in different aspects of art and not just, you know, rely on social media to feed you stuff. Like, actually go to museums and check out art and get interested. It'll jog the mind. It'll get you on this creative plane, and I think it's really cool when people do that. Speaking of musicians, I want to also point out that Rihanna was on Graham Norton over the weekend, where she was promoting Ocean's 8, which I have not seen yet, but I know it's a lot of people liked it and made a lot of money. It came in second at the box office over the weekend because, you know, The Incredibles 2 came out. You know, nothing's going to dethrone or basically beat Incredibles 2. People have been waiting damn near 20 years for this sequel. So, she did confirm she's working on a new album. I remember there were rumblings a couple of months ago, which I reported on my radio show, that they were going to be going. She was going to be going more in a reggae direction. I don't know if that's necessarily true, if she's changed the sound, the aesthetic, whatever the case is that she's going to be doing with the music. But I have to say I'm excited because I like Rihanna. I love her last record, Anti, Tomato. So I'm just really looking forward to hearing the music and what she's going to be influenced by, because I feel like, you know what, Rihanna's been giving us a lot of the hits over the years, and she's allowed to be creative and try different things and do all other stuff. So I think that's really cool that she's working on a new album, and I think it's great. Speaking of which, I want to get back to the whole, I'm trying to remember, did I finish saying all I needed to say about Everything Is Love? I know a lot of people were bitching about the whole, that why she stayed with him, So I was like, you know what, at the end of the day, as someone who, like, and me talking about relationships, I don't feel that, okay, so now somebody cheated on you. Whether or not if these allegations are true, let's just say, generally speaking, if your significant other had an affair, I feel like, let's figure out why is it that Jay-Z cheated on you. Is it because there's a lack of emotional connection between you two? Is it the fact that he was intimidated by her rising star power? That if you look at it now, no shade, you know, I live for Jay. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. You know, I'm a hip-hop connoisseur. I'm a hip-hop head. Like, I'm all for the old school, you know, lyricisms and all that other stuff. But I feel like when, you have someone who's a global superstar and she's eclipsed him in this way, that maybe he was getting intimidated by that, which forces someone to cheat. But the thing is, it's always about, I always say this, communication is key. So if you're going to be in a relationship or this, that, and the other, I don't think the answer is to always, is to just be like, you know what? You cheated on me, so it's over with. I'm done with you. I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't think that should be the result. I think it should be a last resort. If you went in, you sought therapy, you decided to have that moment where it's like, okay, now we need to just lay everything out on the table and figure out what is it about, like, where do we go wrong? How do we fix this? If you're not willing to meet me halfway, then I'm like, okay, it's time for me to move. It's time for us to break up. It's time for us to move on, so on and so forth. So I'd be all for that. But, that's when I feel like you should break up. But I do like the fact that, okay, Beyonce was talking about infidelity and the different steps of the grief and all these other, and then the resolution in the end. And then Jay told his side of the story on 444 and a bunch of other stuff, and how with this album, Everything Is Love, he talks about not just about infidelity and working through that as a couple and coming out on the other side and becoming stronger than ever. But I also like the fact that he addressed a lot of things in regards of the current man in the White House, also the hypocrisy of people like Kanye and Drake and some of the stuff that Kanye has said about Jay and them over the years, getting upset because they didn't come support him on stuff. But it's like, do you not realize that, okay, get out of your own ego for a second and realize that, you know what, I could be going through some stuff too. And I think, like, people need to realize this, that, you know what, we all go through things. We all can't be that person that you want us to be all the time. So I could be dealing with stuff. How about you call me up and be like, hey, how are you? What's going on with you? How can I be of service? And not always be thinking about, but you wasn't there for me and I didn't have this and this and this. Is like, what's time of that? So there was a lot of different things that was talking about. I do like the fact that it's 9 tracks. There's a bonus track on the title. And yeah. So I think it's a great record, and we should have all known that, okay, if they were going to go and give you the same damn stuff on this On the Run 2 tour, that they were going to give you some new music. I don't know if they performed any of it before they released the album, but it'll be interesting to see how they kind of work all these songs into the new show, because I hear it's like 3 hours. Okay, one more story before I go. I want to make sure that I got everything. Oh, let's talk about Jon Bernthal. So now the word on the street is that Jon Bernthal, who played Shane for 2 seasons of The Walking Dead, is returning to Walking Dead Season 9. I don't know in what capacity that's going to happen, because he was killed off subsequently on the show. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Carl that shot him? Or was it Rick? I'm trying to remember, because it's been so long. Like, I've watched this show over the years, and I've had my love-hate relationship with it, especially I really started to dislike the show once Negan came on. And I don't think it's necessarily Jeffrey Dean Morgan's fault where the show has... It's the writers. It's John Gimple. He irks my nerve with the way he's done this show. And then sometimes he'll go on Talking Dead. And him and the other one. I'm not... The guy that... Damn, his name escapes my brain. The one who actually created the comic. I forgot his name just now. It'll probably come to me as I'm talking about this. But... one of the things I have to say about, like, with the show, it just irked me with the direction that they were taking it. And it just felt like it was this ongoing circle of, it just felt monotonous and cyclical. The same thing over and over. It's like, when do we get to the resolution? I get in the comics that you felt like this concept of the Walking Dead. So we're in this zombie thing, and we can keep the story going on and on and on and on. But you can't work a comic book like you can work a TV series, unless you got some brilliant minds who can come up with a great concept to keep the show going forward. And if you're just going to keep giving us the same thing, where it's just like, you know what, we're trying to find somewhere to call home, someone's trying, the threats coming in and they're trying to kill us, and then we have to figure out a way to destroy them, and the next season's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, then it becomes boring. And I feel like that's what's happened with The Walking Dead over the years, is that the show's become boring. There hasn't been an evolution for a lot of the characters. Yeah, I do like the way that you guys have experimented in regards of like shooting this series and the cinematography and all that other stuff and how you're trying to tell stories, but it doesn't always work. And I feel like the ratings have been kind of reflective of that. I do like the fact on Fear the Walking Dead, which I actually checked out of because I just despise how the show is. But then with this new season, one of my best friends was like, you really need to get back into watching the show, because what they're doing is they've reconstructed, I guess they figured out their groove and they reconstructed how everything is working. So they basically just be killing everybody that was on the old Fear the Walking Dead. They're getting rid of all of them and trying to bring in these new characters. And I always feel like that's what you should do as a writer. And I am a writer. So I want to say, like, when something isn't working, if a character is not working, get rid of them. Kill them off. Do something. It's that simple. Like, don't just keep somebody around because you like them or you like the idea of them. It's like, if it's time for, if the character's not bringing anything to the table, if you've hit a, if you've backed yourself into a corner in regards to these characters, get rid of them. So now we know, like, Andrew Lincoln's leaving. He's been with the show for, I guess, well, now since the season's coming up, 9 seasons. Now they're trying to bring John Brenthal on. I guess the easiest thing to say is that they would bring him on to be in flashback sequences or something that kind of, him and his conversation with Shane will kind of juxtapose with wherever the writers are taking Rick's story as we watch it in season 9. When the show airs in October, we'll see where that arc takes us. But it'll be interesting to see how this all works out, because, you know, John is going to be relatively busy with The Punisher, which I hear is going to be starting soon. So he's going to have to just start shooting his stuff quick. And then they're going to move into shooting The Punisher season 2, a show I absolutely love, by the way. But we'll see what happens with that. I think that's everything. Thank you all for checking out the show. Or sticking around to hear me ramble on and talk about a lot of exciting things. If you have any interesting topics that you guys want me to talk about, definitely leave it in the comment section. Like, subscribe, share, do all those things. Also, follow me on Twitter at Kris Avalon NYC, Instagram, Kris Avalon blog, or you can look me up on Kris Avalon on Facebook. I'm everywhere. Also, like I said in the show earlier, subscribe to my radio show. So, alldigitalradio.com, listen to me live 2 to 4 every Saturday. I'm probably going to be going on hiatus sometime in July. Don't necessarily know yet. I haven't worked that out. And yeah, so do that. Download the episodes on iTunes. Just look up Kris Avalon Show. It's there. Hold on. And I guess, yeah, that's all I got to say for now. Love you guys. See you later. Ciao, lovers.